Go DJ Kano, and we're playing, we're playing Division 2. So we're gonna dive in and see what it looks like for boss number 3 in the Iron Horse raid. Let me just kill these last few guys here. They're in my face. Yeah, jump down, buddy. Alright, who else we got? Anybody else around? Hopefully I don't get taken over by any of these guys here. So, okay, so we're probably going to do this in chunks. First chunk, I'll just go and talk about the area, what to look for, and I'm going to talk about phase 1. Phase 1 is considered the diagnostics phase, so I'll go over all of that stuff in this room and talk about diagnostic phase. After diagnostic phase, there will be the cog and lava phase. That should be a shorter phase, but I'll go over that separately. After cogs and lava, I will go over the letter shooting phase. That's going to be letter shooting and turrets. After the letter shooting and turrets, it'll be the final damage phase, and the final damage phase is the part where if you make any small mistakes after going through all the hard stuff, then you have to unfortunately do it all over again. Because there's a white mechanic that comes if you make a mistake. So anyway, let's go over the area. Okay, so you can see there's this nice big round flat platform. This is called the platform. We have a level that goes up the second floor and level that goes up to the third floor, and then we have ground level down here. So multi-leveled, and it's a nice large tower with a circle that goes right around it, or maybe if you want to call it I think it's a, was it hexagon, octagon, multi-faceted agon. So you see that we have the red side, and if I keep going, we have big door is what we call this here. We are big door, main door. There's multiple things people call it, but I just refer it to big door or main door. Some people say those are the most two common I've heard. Yellow. That is not yellow. That is blue. And then now we have yellow, blue, and then we have now yellow, and then we have red, yellow. Okay, so that is the main sections that we have. In terms of positions, this is how I prefer to run the raid. This is how I run it with my group and my clan. We like to run it by zone defense. The other main way that I know a lot of groups like to run it, and keep in mind as I say this, there's not one, there's not two, there's not three ways to run a raid or a section. There's tons and tons and tons of ways depending on your group's gameplay and what your group likes to do. So please, don't take this as like, oh, that's not the only way to do it. I know that's not the only way to do it. This is the way my group prefers to do it, and I like to do it this way. All right. So again, this is what we call. I call it like just zone. We do it as a zone where you have one person here on the platform, which is called our Overwatch, and then we have another person that's going to be down here because these buttons need to be pressed right here on the panel. I do it here where there's a button person. So one button person, one Overwatch. Okay, so the Overwatch helps protect the button person because they need to be able to press this button when the timing is right. So for every color, red, yellow, and blue, there's one Overwatch on the platform, one person down on the button. So that would make 6 people right there out of your 8. So we got 2 more people. That will be your tank. So blue build with hazard protection. You want to run it as much hazard protection as you can. Armor regen is usually what we go for. And then your mods would be 1 disorient resistance, 1 burn resistance, 1 shock resistance, because those are the things that are coming out of the different colored zones. So yellow, shock resistance, red, burn resistance, and blue, it's actually steam. There's no water resistance, so it's going to be disorient resistance from steam. Okay, so that's what you want to run on your build. I have other videos that I can go over with you in terms of what the build looks like, but just know that you have a tank running those things, and a typical healer build with future initiative, BTSU gloves, and probably opportunistic is best in the backpack with the Alps backpack. Okay, so you got the healer, the tank, and then 3 Overwatch, 3 button people. So that's what the layout typically looks like. I wish I could show you what it looks like with everybody here, but this is kind of a calm, peaceful way to do it with nobody really around, not too much talking and stuff. Usually when we're rating, it's a good time and people are having fun, so it's hard to explain things while we have a lot of people just waiting around. So I wouldn't want them to wait through the explanation while I did this. So this is why we're doing it nice and blank. Okay, so positions are covered. Area, general area is covered. Let me show you a little bit of functionality of this area. This is one thing that's unique to this zone. If I come close and I see the button appear, press circle to ascend. So I will get all the way to the third floor. Third floor comes up, and then I can actually drop down to second floor and back down to the ground if I wanted to. But third floor is where we are, okay? So we are going to do the diagnostic phase as I discussed earlier. You have this diagnostic control panel computer. As you can see, if I go up to it, I'll run diagnostics. It is a press and hold button. You must hold this button during a diagnostic of each of these colors. So as you're holding it, it will basically diagnose the different problems with the tower, and we are in charge of maintaining it while we have bosses. The boss spawned with a whole bunch of other people spawned. So we would like to go ahead and diagnose the different things while killing ads and the boss, okay? So when you press it, it'll randomize between blue, yellow, and red. The first color that shows up will just be a freebie because it activates the engagement. So you press and hold it. You know the person running it is probably the tank. The tank will say, okay, it's going to land on blue. So the person that's downstairs at the blue button, let's go to the blue button, right down there, that person will have to press their button while the tank is pressing and holding the diagnostic control panel. Okay, so they're going to press and hold that up there. So that starts a big siren that's going to start going off, and the person that's down there will just press the button, engages the tower. So whoever the tank is needs to get off the tower immediately, because once that siren goes off, you have a few seconds, the tower will start to basically generate a whole bunch of steam because it's a problem that was diagnosed in the tower, and it's expunging all of that steam. So if you're on the tower, that is an insta-kill for anyone who's up there, even the tank who's wearing all blue. Okay, so that starts the engagement. Ads start coming out. They come out of these doors. They come out of doors that are upstairs. There will be a sniper that comes out here. So I'll go back upstairs and show you that really quickly, right? So basically every door you see is fair game for ads. Some of them might be only for the boss, but pretty much any door you see is fair game for ads. So when people are trying to manage spawns, I'm like, well, it's hard to say where they come out of because they randomize from any one of those doors. I basically just tell them, if you're doing ad control, pay attention to the doors, keep your head on a swivel, and when you see a flow of ads come out, then kill them. There's sometimes one or two guys, sometimes it's like five guys. It's yellows, it's purples, it's reds. It's there's no way to plan for it really. Just keep your head on a swivel, make sure you're good at killing your ads, and keep them down. That's what you got to do. Communication is key. All right, so I'm back up here on the top floor. You can see that's not the one. I'm pretty sure they come out of either door, but this is called Broken Bridge. Okay, so out of the two bridges, there's this one here. There was the other one on the other side. It's not broken. Okay, other side's not broken, right there. So Broken Bridge is typically where the ads will spawn. I have seen them come out of that door. They've also come out of that door. And don't get me wrong, I don't pay attention that closely, but I believe they can sometimes come out of these doors as well. Otherwise, why put them there? Okay, so ads will spawn out of any door. I really think that that's what the whole situation is. And these top doors on the top floor, those are snipers. So snipers come out, they will one-shot you through all of your armor, especially if you're wearing a red build and glass cannon, you will be one-shotted. So whoever is downstairs, typically, like I said, they almost always come out of broken bridge doors here and here. So whoever's doing the overwatch on yellow, you'd be positioned right here. You probably have the best vantage point to see that there's a sniper coming up. So yellow is usually the caller for the snipers, and they will just be like, oh, sniper's up, kill them, sniper's down. Okay, sniper's up, oh, sniper's running away, sniper's running over to blue, sniper's running over to red, and they'll just call it out. So everyone downstairs will help shoot snipers. Okay, so that's the main thing for ads. That's what ads look like. Okay, diagnostic would happen. Again, let me retrack again. Let me go backwards again. So we press the button and hold. Whatever random color pops up, that starts the engagement, right? We just did that. Ads will start coming out. I just talked about the ads. then the tank will have to come all the way back up here after jumping down, come all the way back up, yes, press and hold, it'll randomize to another color. Okay, so it goes to another color. If it was blue first, it may be red or yellow, and whatever color comes up, you will have to do the appropriate thing to turn off, well, to diagnose the problem. So basically turn off the button and start the next color. So if it's blue, okay, so now that we've done the initial one, it's gone. These are the actual diagnostics. So blue pops up, I'll just go over each one, and the person up here, the tank, still holding it, they're holding onto it. Blue, there's only blue panels on the second floor, which I just jumped down to, and you can see them right here. So these are the blue panels. These are the steam vents, okay, the steam valves rather, and they will be smoking. There'll be steam coming out of them because the person upstairs is holding the button, causing the steam to come out, so you can figure out which valve to turn. Out of all the valves that you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 valves. 3 of them will be steaming. You press 1. I usually call it out. First valve is pressed. Second valve is pressed. Okay, I'm about to press the third valve. Why do I call it out? I call it out because I want to be able to tell the person who's down at the blue computer, they're right down there, once I press that third valve, whether he presses the button or not, because the upstairs person is holding it, the door behind the blue station will open, and Williams, the boss, will come out trying to smoke him and smash him and kill him to prevent him from pressing the button on that computer. So if I time it just right, I tell him, okay, I'm about to press the third valve, then the blue person knows, okay, I'm ready, I'm good, there's no ads killing me, I can press the button. If I'm about to say, okay, pressing the third valve, and blue's like, hold on, I got an ad shooting me, I can't press the button just yet, then obviously you would wait. So communication is very, very key in this zone. Okay, so say there was no ads, blue's good to go, I press it, he's good, he presses the button, alarm will go off on the tower. Again, this is a rinse repeat situation. That means I need to get down, so does the tank. Tank gets down off the top floor, comes all the way back to the bottom, and then rinse repeat. Okay, so now, right now, the tower is filled with steam again, and we have to wait for the steam to go down. The tank will have a disorient resistance and hazard pro. They can go right back up whenever they want to, so they should be well protected if their build is rolled correctly. If they're not, they just have to wait a few seconds till the steam goes away, then you go back up. Okay, so that's the first part of phase 1. Next thing is we got 2 more colors. We got to do every single color. All right, going back to the diagnostic computer, this is the tank again. Tank would come up and okay, it's going to be yellow. That means yellow. Tank is holding this button the whole time while diagnosing. I am the healer. I would come up here and look, you have yellow boxes here. All right, we have another yellow box on this side here on the top floor. Everybody downstairs is killing ads. The person who should be coming up to this floor to check for this should be the healer. Okay, because the healer can't do any ad control. They're going to be what's called, a lot of people call it the chain monkey. They go up and down the chain with the tank. So healer comes up and checks. What you're looking for with these boxes, there will be a bunch of sparks coming out of the box. Out of all the many boxes that you see like this around the entire area, only 3 will be sparking. So while the healer is upstairs looking at these things, everybody downstairs, while killing ads, should be looking at the boxes near them to see if it's sparking. Just like the blue phase, you want to be communicative about which valves are getting pressed. So if I'm up here, I'm the healer, and I'm like, oh, I got one up here, I'm pressing number 1. Whoever's downstairs might be seeing another box. They're going to be like, okay, pressing number 2. So whoever is number 3 should be very, very patient and communicative with the person on the yellow station. Because if everyone just presses their yellow buttons at any given time, the yellow person who's unaware, killing ads, doing something else, they may get caught by Williams coming through the door behind yellow. Okay? So healer checks the boxes up here. Healer comes back down here. And there is a couple of boxes on this floor. Look, there's one here. Okay, so you have to walk all the way around and be very sure that there are no sparking boxes on these upper floors, because you're the only one that can check them if you're the healer. As soon as you're done, you go down, okay, tower's checked, you communicate that to everybody else. That means if not all 3 were found, people on the ground floor need to check. Let me show you where the ground floor ones look. Okay, so right here, where they are. They look like this. 1, Okay, 2. Okay, there's also ones down here. So if you're on Overwatch, you can't really see these boxes down here. So that would be the button people. If they can see and look, they have to look out for it. Okay. So these are just a press situation. It's a really quick switch. The valves for the blue that I talked about earlier, those are a slightly longer press and hold situation. Okay, so we have yellow boxes everywhere, but they're very easy to see when they're sparking. So it's important for people to pay attention, look around. Okay, the other thing that I forgot to mention, that's very important since I'm talking about this phase, is the pressure. If you look in the middle of my screen, it has that long valve, that long line. It's kind of halfway right now. It says pressure. So every time we successfully do a diagnostic, that pressure will go down. But if we take too long in doing diagnostics, the pressure will increase. So we need to be sure that we do these things quickly. So if some people are on the ground floor and they're not looking for these yellow sparking boxes everywhere, okay, now I'm on red side, and it takes too long to do any of the tasks I'm going to talk about in the next few videos, then the pressure will build and you will not have enough time to kill the boss in the end. Okay, so everyone needs to use massive teamwork because this is a timed boss. So there are no yellow boxes or blue boxes on this section on the platform. They're only on the bottom floor, top floor, and second floor. All right, so you saw what they look like, you saw where they are, and we only need to find 3. And reiterating to communicate, I'm pressing the 3rd one to the person on the yellow button. Okay, so this is just like we talked about in the blue button. So they have to press this button right here once it becomes active, and then the boss will spawn. They need to get out of the way, jump over the thing, and not get killed by the boss as much as possible. Healer can shoot chems if they are nearby, if they're paying attention to what phase is going on. Usually when I'm the healer, I try to pay attention to that, and I try to get nearby and shoot chems directly at the console so that they have some heals if Williams is a little aggressive and smashes them on the back of their head while they're pressing the button. All right, so that was blue and yellow. Okay, those are pretty simple. Red is even simpler. So, yellow's done. Tank, again, comes back up. And Tank is going to go over to diagnostics one more time. Once they come over to diagnostics, press and hold. When it's red, okay, red, it usually sets the tower on fire, okay? So this is what typically happens. The tower will come on fire, and the person who is the tank is going to have their Hasbro try to save their life and keep them afloat. Actually, I'm pretty sure the button is inactive during that time. I don't think they even hold the button at that time. So once the tower catches fire, you have to come down. Okay, there are no red valves on the tower. Red valves are going to be downstairs. Let's see if we can find one. It's not there. Right here. Okay, so red valves are right here, and these are a press and hold situation. Okay, you see the scorch mark that's right next to it? That means there's fire that comes out of the right side of the valve if you're pressing the right one. Press and hold, you see fire, you need to hold that. Once you press that, you let the fire go from the tower, so now the tank can actually press the diagnostic computer as well. Once you're able to press the diagnostic computer, then it allows the person on the red station to press their button. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way to red. It's going to be exactly like this on the red side. Okay, so red button gets the press. The reason why it happens that way, it's just like a slightly different dynamic than yellow-blue. It causes your Hasbro to be important on the top floor. Okay, so you need to be able to survive while people are looking for that red valve. Okay, however, I will tell you this. Not many groups have to deal with that. That is usually the result of someone being too slow to press a button. That only happens if the red button doesn't get pressed right away, because the person who is the tank is upstairs pressing the diagnostic computer. There is a brief moment, a few seconds before the tower catches fire, that the person on the red button can press their computer here. They can press this before the tower catches fire, before the tank is unable to continue pressing and holding that button. So if the red person, the person that's doing this button, can press it quickly, you can skip the whole valve thing. You don't have to worry about pressing these red valves, and you can just move on to the next color. So it's basically going to be red, okay, Red person press your button, button's pressed, alarm goes off, boss comes out, and the tank comes down. That is basically it. It can be a really, really quick phase. Okay, I just mentioned the tower catches fire. So if the three colors that you do, right, say it was red first, blue next, and then yellow, there's a chance on the next cycle that it could come up as red again, because the diagnostics just keep going over and over and over again, right? So they'll do three colors, then they'll go through another randomization of the three colors again. So it could very well be red again. And you need to perform a red check. So you need to do diagnostics for a fourth time, because if it is red, what did I say? The tower catches fire. If the tower catches fire, the healer has to come up there to help do the next phase, which are cogs. The healer also goes upstairs to do the final phase, which is the letter calling. So if the tower's on fire and we don't turn it off, then the healer is not able to do the next few phases. So that's why a red check is important. So if you've ever been in a group before and maybe you went through a raid and you weren't exactly sure what was going on, that's the reason a red check occurs. Because if you don't turn off the red diagnostic, the tower's on fire, you can't really easily progress through the next few phases. Okay? So say it is red, you do the same thing again. Okay, diagnostic is red. Red button gets pushed, and then you will know that you're good in the clear, because the next diagnostic will be either yellow or blue, so you can move on to the next phase. All right, that was a lot of information. I hope that maybe helped out a little bit with people who have seen the raid a little bit and didn't know what was happening, or maybe you haven't seen it at all and now you kind of a little bit more understand how involved it can be. Having me show you this could be helpful, but I feel like I would probably review the video and then go ahead and find a group to dive in with Iron Horse. If you happen to be viewing this at all and you don't have a group to raid with, by all means, please leave me a comment, and we'll do what we can to try and get you in our Discord and bring you in. We'd be more than happy to try and teach people some new positions, or just get into the raid at all at some point, because we have been doing so with a few other people that we meet through shepherding, sometimes on Reddit, sometimes just a friend of a friend from a different game. So we would be more than happy to try to get people in. The only requirement is that you be very respectful of the people that you're playing with. Any level of disrespect just results in you no longer playing with our group. So as long as you can be respectful and you're open to learning, more than willing to teach and share the information that we have all learned from each other. All right, guys, but that'll be it for the first phase. I'll just do a quick recap one more time, okay? So everyone's in their positions, okay? We got the overwatches, we got the buttons, and we got the healer and the tank. That's how it starts off, okay? Tank is upstairs, healer's downstairs, just shooting chems, throwing things around, and the first color that comes up is a freebie. That is just to start the engagement. So they're going to say whatever color, blue. Okay, so the tank presses and holds, blue gets pressed, right? The button person will push it on blue. The tank jumps down and you hear the siren. Ads will start to spawn. Okay, now the engagement is actually started. Tank goes back upstairs on the chain and does it one more time. Okay, that's the first color. Whatever that color is, okay, it is yellow. That means I, as the healer, it's usually what I've been running lately, healer will go up to the top floor and the healer will check. Yellow boxes. Okay, are there yellow boxes upstairs? I'll remind you that they look like this. Okay, are there any sparking boxes upstairs or on the second floor? Everybody else on the bottom floor is looking to see if they see any. Remember that when you press the third one, that will actually have the boss spawn. So be communicative to the person who's on the button. Okay, yellow person, we're going to press the button. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Okay, press. They press their button, tank comes down, and then we wait until the tower stops being electrified and rinse and repeat. Okay, so tank goes back upstairs. Okay, it is red. Red person will press the button immediately to avoid the tower catching fire, and then boss spawns. Tank gets ready to go back upstairs once the fire subsides, and they're going up. Last color, it'll be blue. Okay, so healer goes up to the second floor. Second floor, checking the steam valves. Okay, I'm pressing first. I'm pressing second. I'm pressing the third steam valve. Blue, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Okay, pressing the third. Boss spawns. Blue button is pressed. After the blue button gets pressed, then we're going to a red check. All three colors are done, but because red was not the last color, if red is the last color, that means you don't have to worry about it. But if red was not the last color, okay, going back up, tank's going up again, checking. Oh, it's red, it's fire. Red presses it one more time, and then tank comes down, and we are finished with that phase. That is it for the first phase. It seems like a lot. It can be a lot, but once you are familiar with all positions and understanding how the mechanics work, it is actually quite simple when you have a good team. All right, guys, I'm going to end it for phase 1. I will do a phase 2 shortly after and get all of them released at the same time. All right, guys, thank you. Shoots.